Oh, hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this podcast about Star Trek called...
Are you waiting for me or
No, let him get it. Let him learn.
Okay, that's why I asked. I didn't want to barge ahead.
Self-reliance.
I just don't know how to say it quickly. Star Trek Resignation. Under the Bridge.
There he is.
A Lower Decks podcast.
There he is.
The end. I think that's it.
The penultimate
Seamless.
episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yes.
It's only one episode of the pod left after this. Our
That's
second.
what fucking penultimate means, Glenn. Jesus Christ.
But we're not talking about the penultimate episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. We're talking about the penultimate and the one before that. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. What are these called? These are
the quad ultimate and the tri ultimate. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, let's just figure out what the names of these episodes are. Upper Decks was the second one that we're talking about. And the other one is Fully Dialated. It's just a pregnancy joke.
Yes.
Because there's a fissure in space and it's fully dilated.
Oh, did you say anti-penultimate? Is that
time dilation? That's why it is. That's the joke.
Oh, yes.
It's also like a vagina.
Right, time dilation and vagina dilation.
Yes. Glenn and I know about.
Yes, we do.
We have children.
Hey, listen.
We're breeders.
Listen, I know about it. All right, you don't know what I watch in my spare time.
Fully qualified to opine and talk about it at length, of course.
Yes, yes. I'm sure my wife would love to have me talk all about it. I won't. Nobody wants that.
No. We're qualified. We know more about it than they do. I mean, because
well, sure. I mean, yeah.
We could actually see what was going on.
Yeah, Glenn, I doubt you did.
Yeah, no, and you would be right. Your suspicion would be correct. I did not look, and we agreed, and it didn't happen.
I looked both times. It's fine.
Well, if we have a second one, maybe I'll look.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for you, Glenn, you might not want to.
We'll see.
I don't know. I was fine, but C-section, definitely don't look.
I looked at all three.
Look. Of what?
He's saying that he looked at all three births.
Oh, okay.
He is intimating that he was present for the birth of our sons.
Uh-huh.
To which I say, nay.
All three sons.
Motherfucker, you weren't there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, like my second was in the middle of COVID. They weren't letting you in there.
Yeah, that doctor was wearing a mask, wasn't he?
Yes, she was.
Now that you mentioned there was a really buff guy that
the doctor was a woman.
Damn it! Well,
I did think it was weird at the time. There was this guy that went into the delivery room. I thought he was like a nurse or a doctor, but he did roundly criticize everything I had to say about Star Trek. And I didn't make much of it at the time. I was a little distracted, but now that
you were busy, you had a lot going on. That's so funny.
All right.
He had an upside down pineapple on his scrubs.
Guys, I haven't had any threesomes since we recorded our last episode.
Man, it's been forever. What are you even doing?
Yeah, I was about to say, Mr. Monk over
celebrating the holidays with your family.
Exactly.
This is an Evergreen podcast. I just let it out of the bag when what season we're recording this in.
Oh no!
No. Banking apps is all the rage now. Like they all do it.
Yeah, our side podcast about TD Bank is going great.
Wait, TD Bank? That's a weirdly specific reference.
Banking episodes, Glenn.
Oh, of course. But TD Bank was...
TD, is that your bank?
They were. They're not anymore. They were when I was a lad.
We have one near our house that I walk by it all the time. Looks nice.
Yeah.
There you go. See? I'm not telling any of these freaks what my bank is. As if I trust these deviants.
What's your routing number, Sean?
14. No, damn it.
Fully dilated. What happened in that episode?
This was a Carbon Creek situation.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they sure said that, didn't they?
Explain that for Sean.
I mean, there's an episode of Enterprise where there's a flashback of the Vulcan, or I guess it's more a story of the Vulcan lady's like great grandmother or something, and it's kind of presented as a may or may not be true story of a couple of Vulcans hanging out for a couple of days in some, podunk town in like, it must have been like the 20s maybe, but like pre-warp and pre-actual first contact.
Oh, so Vulcans are hiding in old-timey Earth.
Yes. So it's like some kind of, it's like not quite Pleasantville vibes, but it's the closest I can think of in the moment.
I feel like that's all you had to say. I don't know why Glenn's talking about dreams and stories and shit.
I don't know.
Well, because it's not literally a flashback. It's like the Vulcan lady on the show, T'Pol, says, "Oh, well, I've been told that this is what happened," and
she narrates a story and they do a little video. This is and they cut to like the story she's telling, like Rashomon style, except there's only one point of view.
I think that's more or less what it is.
Like Rashomon, except not.
A classic single POV Rashomon.
Yeah, that untrustworthy single POV. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, but they make a point in the episode because it is such a like canon breaking idea that like Vulcans were on Earth before first contact, that they keep hedging it with like, oh, well, this may not be true. This may just be a story that my grandmother, whoever, told us.
I refer to Rashomon as a multi POV Catcher in the Rye.
I have to admit,
because it's another unreliable narrator.
I see.
But it's just the one guy.
Of course, this is I've never seen Rashomon. I only know that it is like that framing device. So,
you should.
What the fuck are you doing, Sean? You should.
Yeah, man, you're missing out.
Sean's.
I was about to say, Sean's in the clear on this one.
It's one of the only things I've done right on this podcast.
Right.
It's in the backlog.
It's some backlog.
I'll get to it eventually when my son's in college.
Sure. Yeah. Rashomon. It's like a multi POV Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe.
Did I?
Yes, those words.
Yes. Yeah. Very unreliable. Yeah.
I thought it was. Am I right? I thought it was a Kurosawa film, but
it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Gene Wolfe has nothing to do with Rashomon.
Oh,
Book of the New Sun is a science fiction book by Gene Wolfe, who invented the Pringles. And he looks like
the Pringles guy.
And he looks like the Pringles guy if you look at pictures. But that's all. There's a podcast about how great.
Fuck, he does.
Yeah. See, Google it.
Oh, this rocks.
What's his name again?
Gene Wolfe.
Gene Wolfe.
Yeah.
Yes. He's like one of the greats of science fiction literature.
He does look like the Pringles guy.
He does, and he was an engineer that invented the machine that cooks Pringles and cuts them to look like that.
Wow, holy shit!
So what's his connection to Rashomon?
Nothing.
Oh,
we're making dumb jokes, Glenn.
It's just another.
All right.
It's very convoluted, like a very esoteric joke from a Mystery Science Theater reference.
Well, I appreciate that he does in fact look exactly like the Pringles guy.
This is fucking great.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Go listen to podcasts about Book of the New Sun. It's great.
I'm sure those are out there and we don't need to cover it anymore.
There are. Yeah.
Well, at the risk of getting further off topic, I'll bring us back to Fully Dialated.
Hi, I'm Sean Parada.
Oh, yes. And I'm Glenn Hall. I don't even think we were...
Oh, fuck me. I'm so sorry, guys.
As if we fucking care.
How dare you?
Oh man, I said my name and I just showboated all over you guys,
which I love. It's great. Fucking rocks.
If you are listening to this episode, you know who we are.
Yeah.
We don't need to tell you who we are. We're not getting any new listeners on this episode.
You know who I am? Yeah, I just said my name.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah. All right.
But yes, so classic, quote unquote, Carbon Creek /
Inner Light
undercover away mission situation.
See, I never watched Enterprise, so I didn't get the Carbon Creek. And
it's
closer to the Inner Light with the time dilation than Carbon Creek. Except
yes, they do make a lot of bones of the Inner Light in this one, which I actually did not like the Inner Light jokes in this one. I didn't think they landed very well. One, I didn't think the jokes landed, and two, I think I've mentioned a similar gripe before, but like I don't think the average Starfleet crew member would know about that story, because I'm sure it's public record that, you know, the Enterprise encountered a probe that did X, Y, and Z. I think the details of what Picard went through, Wade, I think you would agree, like,
yeah,
he considers extremely personal and private, and I do not think that would be something that would be logged in the record.
Right, yeah. Unless every episode of Star Trek is like Riker being a little voyeur.
Right, at the end of Enterprise.
Like he's off screen going, yeah, or whatever, you know, what Sean might do if he were doing that kind of thing.
Goddamn right.
Sorry.
I think there's an episode, I think it's when when Picard's fucking the archaeologist lady, whatever her name is, who ends up fucking Q. I think that's like the first time he tells another person about the flute.
Vash. Yeah.
Vash, that's right. That's her name.
I always think of Vash the Stampede from Trigun.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one I have to watch.
Oh, Trigun's great. Classic.
Yeah, well, I just finished another anime with a red-coated protagonist.
Yeah, sorry to derail.
Hey, did you guys know that this podcast is actually just me watching you guys record a podcast and jacking off?
All right, okay.
I mean, I thought maybe that was happening, but I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know.
Well,
so you killed all the mistake. So I guess I'm done.
But I know it was time, because I want you to get a full episode next time. The finale, you should know that's what's happening.
All right, I'm opening my
it better not be. So anyway, yeah, the inner light shit. Like, if it was funny, I wouldn't care as much that it doesn't really make sense. But I didn't find it, like, it just was like her referencing that episode.
Yeah, I like the joke. I thought it was fun at the end when she was just like doing the Ferris Bueller. Never had one listen where they're like, no, don't play the flute. It's like, no, and it's just goofy.
Yeah, look, I'm not. I don't hate. I'm not against
because that was like the joke. There was it. Hey, it's the same thing. It was just look how bad I am at playing the flute. It's dumb, simple joke. Like,
yeah. Which maybe there's a version where like it's a little more focused on like the flute part of it, but it didn't land to me.
You know, I guess we're getting to the end of the series, and I've just like the things that would have really pissed me off in season 1, and now I'm just like, okay, that's what the show does.
Yeah, sure.
And like when I've given over to it, I've enjoyed it more.
Guys, I fucking hated this episode.
I like.
This is you did mention that there was one that you hated.
I figured you said there was one you liked and one you hated, and then I rewatched both of them. I was like, well, obviously he liked Upper Decks because that one was great.
Yeah,
I like this one too, but there's a lot of references.
Yeah, guys, there's nothing in this episode if you are not a fan of other Star Trek, which I acknowledge that's who the show's for. I don't have a problem with it. This one really just like impenetrable.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, you know, I get that friends have to fight sometimes on shows, but like it's boring. It's dumb. We know it's like...
Oh, the fighting over who's going to be the science officer, all that stuff.
Yeah, who's going to be the senior science officer. Yeah. I don't know, like, yeah.
I'll say this. There was a point I thought, because it's the last season, I thought maybe the direction they would go is the Vulcan lady from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, T'Lyn. I thought it would end with her staying on the planet. Like maybe she like falls in love with the guy spying on them or something.
That would be bad.
And
she's a Vulcan. She has no emotions for that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But yeah,
I wouldn't have liked it either, and I'm glad they didn't do that. But I part of me, like halfway through the episode, I'm like, is this how they're going to resolve the science officer thing? That like she just stays behind
with Snell? Absolutely not.
That's right, Snell.
I was like, who's that voice actor? And I was like, that sounds. And it's just that's a voice that every voice actor can do. I looked at him. I was like, I don't know this guy from anything.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Let me see. I feel like
you might recognize him because you're a dork, but like, no, you won't. Nobody knows who this
is. Dork.
Look, I am too. Like,
hey, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Me too.
We know you are. But this is definitely one of those episodes that really tries to lean into a particular type of Trek episode, of which I think, especially with TNG onwards, there's, I imagine, probably quite a few of this kind of, undercover. I mean, this is the classic Riker fucks BB Newirth in an undercover mission episode.
First Contact. episode title, not the movie.
That's right. Yes, that's right. The episode, not the yeah. You know, so I think, you know what, it makes me think of the Voyager episode. The Voyager episode just like completely blew out any jokes they, you know, any like larger scale jokes they could and should make about Voyager. And I think I might have liked this episode more if it was kind of more in that lane of like, okay, this is a thing that happens where they go undercover and they, you know, have to kind of go a little native, and let's just completely blow it out. Instead, they kind of focused a lot of it on the inner light thing, and then on the data, the purple data, which, you know, hey, good for them for, you know, having Brent Spiner on. That's always fun. But, you know, Sean, you are right that this was like such a reference heavy episode, but like, I don't know, weirdly not in a way that I think served the jokes as well for you know, for those following along.
Hi, I am Data. I know who you are. I'm kind of a big fan. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the jokes.
Yeah, the show sometimes uses the references like in service of jokes, and sometimes uses the references as jokes, and we've talked about it to death.
Yeah,
because it's a reference heavy show. But yeah, this is one where really, like, if you don't think those references are jokes, then this episode is just like a blob on the ground. Like, there is just nothing here.
How did you feel about the Michelada mishaps?
Let me be clear. This episode sucked shit, except for the 45 seconds of Michelada on the teleporter controls. 100%.
This is why they don't allow food in the transporter room.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
I know. It's soaking up the liquid, and then all that's left is goo.
They had to lick it.
Yep.
I did like that was like literally that 45 seconds, you know, spanned whatever year plus on the I don't know, in terms of like the kind of interstellar time dilation dynamic. That to me was a funny take on it.
Right, that's how they're spending their time.
Right.
And I mean, I love a Michelada, so I think
shrimp in my eye.
If you're gonna spill anything, spill a Michelada.
I don't know that I've ever actually had one.
Delicious. It's like a Mexican beer cocktail.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's Bloody Mary-esque.
For sure. Did you like the juggling jokes? That wasn't a reference. Trying to figure out what jokes weren't referenced.
You know,
yes, right. That she
considering the juggling jokes weren't a reference, I liked them and thought they were funny. You're right. You got me.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? She said that they were like algorithmic. It was algorithmic throwing or something.
Do you know how to juggle? It's like, no, this is the first time. Like, oh, okay. Vulcan joke. All right. It's funny enough.
I didn't hate that. Yeah. But by the way, just a quick aside, I did look up the voice for Snell. It's Eric Bauza, who's the current voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Oh, so people might know who he is if they're dorks.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Dork. What are Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck doing currently?
Well, there is a new Looney Tunes movie coming out.
Space Jam: A New Legacy, Glenn. That's what.
Oh, I did see that he was the voice of Tiny Toon Adventures on the reboot. So he's Bugs and Buster Bunny. Holy shit!
Whatever, little
Buster Bunny guys.
Bugs and Buster. Oh my god. They're tiny. They're toony. They're all
loony. Yeah.
Man, y'all remember it better than I do. I
grew up with that shit, man, and
I did too. But I don't.
Yeah, Glenn, in this cartoony, they're invading your TV.
Yeah.
I only vaguely remember that like Steven Spielberg was like somehow
produced
in like
it,
he produced it, and like wasn't he in like the theme or something like the animated, you know?
He's in the theme song. Yeah, he shows up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just confirming that yes, he is in fact someone that only a dork would recognize.
Yeah, but I mean, good on you. What other jokes were there in there? I need to make a meaningful relationship. That was too reference heavy. And then she makes friends with everybody because she's in jail the whole time. I thought.
Well, right. I liked like, can my new friends come with me? No, I tried. You know,
right.
that was funny. I did like that one.
Oh, you were my friends all the time. Yeah, and two of us are murderers. Oh, dude, don't tell me that.
Don't tell me that.
You know. I was thinking about that in context of like Paddington, like, or I guess specifically Paddington 2, where like anytime there is like stuff set in a prison where like there's kind of like a lighthearted.
I've seen Paddington 2.
What's that?
I haven't seen Paddington 2. He goes to jail now.
Glenn, sorry, this podcast hasn't seen Paddington 2.
Oh, well, it's part of it's set in a prison.
Don't you spoil it for me. My kids are going to want to watch that.
No.
Glenn, don't you spoil Paddington 2.
He goes to jail, and there's criminals there.
Yeah, exactly. And so...
Okay, good. Oh, fuck. Now I can't watch it.
He goes to jail with Eric Bauza?
I mean, hey, for all I know...
He's not even British, I don't think.
Yeah, no, he's American.
Yeah, Daffy Duck's not British, Glenn.
I haven't suggested that yet, but
get your facts straight.
All right,
man.
let's just confuse him enough to not talk about this anymore.
Well, I was just gonna say I thought that was a funny joke.
Yeah, sorry, I'm being a dick.
It's like videos of people like where their dogs are barking and they bark back, and the dog's like, I don't know what to do now. How do we proceed?
Yes, I think that's pretty much what happened here. There was I feel like there was another joke on the ship, because most of what's happening on the ship is just the Michelada.
I mean, right. They have micheladas because it's taquito night.
Oh, that's right.
And I like, and what the show does like very well is that the captain just say, when you get back, you can replicate your own taquitos, and it's true, right? Like taquitos are just replicated taquitos. Like there isn't anything special. But you guys say, oh, I like the dancing and the music.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then it's about the community aspect. It's like, there you go. See, the show does understand Star Trek in that sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's great. She also says taquito funny. She really hits that second
She did say
T.
taquito kind of funny.
Yeah.
I also noticed that.
Oh, taquito night.
Kind of similar, like in the Fall Guy, like Ryan Gosling says margarita in a really weird way.
Yes, he does.
I don't know. There's something endearing when you notice, like, oh, this actor just says that word weirdly.
It is so funny, right? That Shax says like, I don't want to go on a mission. It's taquito night. And the captain's like, exactly. So we're not going. We are going to taquito night. We are sending somebody else.
Right.
That's good. I love all that stuff. The second they get on the planet, I could truly go to sleep.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah. Honestly, the stuff outside of it, solid.
But it's, the thing is, it's also just it's a good... This is something in the episode's favor and like in the show's favor, is that this is like a solid premise for like a quote unquote real Trek episode, and like that someone gets sent on an away mission, and because of the time dilation.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Coral Cave situation. We've done this. It's all yeah.
A what? A what?
You heard me.
Yeah, you said it.
Coral Cave.
I said it.
That's the thing you said earlier, Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fuck off.
Cinder Cove. Yeah. Whatever that thing you said.
I don't know. Why am I? Yes, that's exactly what I said. I'm not even.
I pay attention to these things. I listen to what you say. Cause...
I'm not even.
Glenn, don't act like you don't fucking know what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah, over here making me out to be a fool.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Close enough.
God, I thought I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. It's Carbon Creek, is what they said. God damn it.
Right.
Yeah, great. Okay. So if I say Crystal Cove, you don't know what I fucking mean, Glenn?
No, I didn't at first because it's something different, but I just accept it.
No benefit of the doubt with this guy.
No, I think if you listen to this podcast, if I give you any benefit...
Yeah, you'd know that pretty well.
It's gone on long enough. But yes, Carbon Creek, just so I don't get any angry letters. After our, Princess Bride debacle last episode, I do have to, protect our reputations.
Mm-hmm.
No, you mean when we got every detail correct about the iconic movie, The Princess Bride?
Look,
yes.
Don't do it, man. I don't want those. I don't want to have to read those emails again, guys.
I don't think we can top Andre the Little Guy.
Right.
Anyway,
was there anything else about Fully Dilated we need to talk to you about before we move on? Probably.
Do you guys like Purple Data? I feel like shouldn't you guys have takes on Data?
Oh yeah, we should.
Don't you guys have Data takes?
We should.
It's. I mean, look, it's fun. It's fun having him.
I like Purple Data.
Yeah, I did. It was a good build up at the very end. I forget what they were discussing, like picking a color for something. It was like, well, can I suggest purple?
Right. No, it's just not really any color. I was like, well, that.
Oh yeah, right. He said like, what color is yours? No color, just gray. Seems like a wasted opportunity when purple is an option.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
Which is great joke. Very funny.
That was a good. I do love an extended build up to a single joke. Like having him and the ship and everything else be purple was just fully for that one joke. And you know what? Great.
Right.
Yeah.
There was another joke. It was a reference, but it was like not like I know the reference. It's like, oh, this reminds me of the time I got stuck, back on Earth and blah blah blah. And I was trying to technobabble blah 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 whatever. And he's like, what did you do? And he asked, like, oh, I basically waited until Picard and me came like 500 years later. Like,
right.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not do that.
That's I think if I recall correctly, that's the episode where they meet Mark Twain.
I believe it is. Yes. And then Data's in a cave the whole time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they bury his head in a cave, and it's like you said, they just find him, in the present.
Yeah,
that's yet another thing that like Futurama did a riff on.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is. Cherry is screaming. Cowboy Carl is screaming. We're all, oh my God. All right, Glenn,
surely I don't reference Futurama that much.
Every episode, Glenn, every single episode of Lower Decks.
Yeah, without fail, it's going to happen at least once.
Well, you know what? It's not that unreasonable because it's a show with a similar.
It's a science fiction cartoon that riffs on Star Trek sometimes.
Yeah,
such a classic backtrack. Surely I don't do it that much. You do it every time. Well, it makes sense too.
They have Uhuras in the cast of Star Trek's heads in jars. Come on.
Oh, fuck.
And I don't believe Glenn's ever brought that up, and I'm the one doing it.
No, never mentioned the heads in jars. And now
take that.
Right. Now there's a head.
And I took that from you. I'm sorry.
I mean, I have talked about
is that what you were about to talk about, Glenn?
No, because for one thing, I know for a fact I've talked about the Star Trek episode of Futurama. So, in a roundabout way, I beat you to it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I just forgot.
Yeah, that's right.
That you ever said it. I hope you feel better that I forgot about it.
I do feel better. I do feel better in general and about myself.
Okay.
It's all that matters.
Yep. I'm glad.
But also, fuck you both. God damn it. But no, I have nothing further to say on Fully Dilated.
All right. So I guess. Oh, I introduced a new segment last time we talked.
Do we have another segment of the segment?
Well, another
edition of the segment, I might say.
What was it? Derelictions of Duty, that one, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it. Let's see. I guess I just did a perfect job last time. I didn't come across anything that I forgot to bring up. But let's see.
I did a segment. What was the segment called? It's called Derelictions of Duty, right? I don't have any.
Well, let's go to the emails and see if anybody else wrote into the Rules of Acquisition podcast at gmail.com.
Can you still access that email?
I'm looking at it right now, and nothing. Wait a minute.
I was about to say,
the Rules of Acquisition was featured in FeedSpot's top 60 Star Trek podcast.
Well, it makes sense.
How many are there?
I was about to say, there's only one, so,
Yeah, so we must be top of the list. That's right. So, hey, that's not this podcast. Sorry, guys. It's that other one I did.
Oh, this isn't even a real podcast as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. As one of the top... Okay, well, hey, look at that.
I will admit I don't remember what the segment actually was last time. Dereliction of Duty, was it like...
It was things we got wrong in the episode prior.
Oh.
Things I got wrong or forgot. Things I forgot to point out about the last episode.
Gotcha.
Things we missed. Number 25. Okay.
Well, I was just looking it up too.
Too bad they don't actually. Nobody will ever see this because nobody gives a shit about FeedSpot. Am I right? Oh
no! What the fuck is FeedSpot? Frequency 2 episodes per year.
That's about how much we put out at this point. Yeah.
I mean,
but look at that since. Oh, these dorks have been doing it since 2010. Oh, sorry. But we're better.
Frequencies 2 episodes a year
at this point. But the Patreon is bumping.
Active?
We put a lot more out on the Patreon. Yeah, I talk to James and Hugh about every week.
If people are still paying for it, you fucking better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'll
sometimes I put stuff that we say on there too, but
you're welcome to. I'm,
Yeah.
You own my voice at this point.
That's right. Under contract.
Speak for yourself. Call my fucking agent.
Could have trained an AI that talks a lot about big fucking titties based on my voice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the guy in the delivery room also was talking. He talked about them big old bitties, and
yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm about to talk about your wife's.
No, you better not.
I gotta cut that out.
Tread very fucking carefully.
I ain't saying nothing about nobody's big pregnant.
Man, all these podcasts that don't exist in front of mine all suck. They're all awful, except for the rules of acquisition.
There you go. See? We've got the market cornered.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
good thing they don't exist.
Yep. Exactly. Well, moving up onto Upper Decks.
Ah, yes.
This is like the not bottle episode. I feel like there should be a name for this type of episode where it's like someone going about their day, like focusing on a character going about their day and like all the kind of intersections that happen there.
A day in the life.
Yeah, maybe so. That's a good description.
Woke up, got out of bed,
dragged a comb across my head.
Crickets attacked the ship.
Oh, that's you went a different direction, a better direction, I'd argue.
Hey, nobody in this episode talks about shitting in the tank.
That's true. No upper deckers occur.
That's not cool.
Oh yeah,
no upper deckers.
No,
missed opportunity.
Well,
classy guy.
Weren't we talking about the bathroom situations on Starfleet ships?
We talked about that last time, yeah.
Yeah.
Too much, probably.
Well, I assume it just all goes to the matter reclaimer. So, that taquito you're getting.
Yeah, the matter reclamators, the disposals.
That's a shit taquito?
That's right. There's
the piss, the shit. It all goes to and it just dispersed into atoms, so it's not shit anymore, and recombined into whatever it needs to be.
Right. Well, I think for, speaking as a notorious germaphobe, it'd be tough to get past that, it's knowing that like any...
Right.
No, don't worry, Glenn. It's a real shit of Theseus.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's a good joke. Fuck me.
That is a good joke.
That joke was way too smart for you, Sean.
Yes. it's a thinker for sure, but it's a good one.
It's a great one. Yeah.
I feel
way
that's a smart man's joke.
Not really what I bring to this podcast typically.
And look, it works on multiple levels because the ship of Theseus is very frequently evoked when talking about the transporters and
yes, I know.
By extension replicator tech.
Yeah, there you go.
And so
yep.
Anyway,
listen, every now and then I gotta remind, I guess, my two friends that I'm smart.
I forget sometimes, Sean. I know.
Look,
it's good. I need you to remind me every now and then.
I'm not just a dumb guy who loves titties. Yeah.
Look, you're allowed to love titties and know about the ship of Theseus. Like they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You're allowed. I just don't expect it.
No, it's okay. I got a.
I'll stop talking about how dumb I think you are. I don't think you're dumb.
No, listen, we just got a new car. We got a Bronco, and it's a big car. And I was talking to my trainer about it. He was like, "Bronco, that's a big car." I'm like, "Yeah, big dumb car for a big dumb guy." And it's like, yeah.
Did you say it like that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because it's a big dumb car, and I'm a big dumb guy.
All right.
It fits. It works.
I'm just astounded that we talked beforehand that they still make white Broncos, Glenn.
I know
they do. Mine is not, but
I am shocked that they
do make them.
I mean, didn't they stop making the Bronco like entirely for a bit?
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they brought the Bronco back a few years back.
Maybe people forgot. Like, no, they didn't. OJ's dead now. We can do it, right?
I was about to say, now that OJ's dead, maybe they're just like, who cares?
I think we've reclaimed the Bronco.
But on the other hand,
but everybody that owns a Bronco gets asked, do they make white ones anymore?
Oh, totally, 100%.
Yeah,
it is objectively, because I knew, growing up, I knew about the white Bronco thing just as a kid, a dipshit kid that knew there was a trial with OJ Simpson and nothing else about it. Once I actually
I remember watching it. I was with my family and the soccer got preempted and Yeah.
Wow.
That's an early. I mean, not that early because I'm old, I guess.
You look great, Wade.
Thank you for.
You're welcome.
Keeping to the contract stipulations that you say that every time.
Yeah, I got you.
But yes, I didn't watch it live, but I did hear about it, I guess. But it's just the fact that even I can't not ask, like, oh, Bronco, do they make him in white? I don't know. It's crazy that it's like so, especially now where, you know, every news item just kind of like fades after a couple weeks. Like, I don't know. There's something. It's crazy that something has had that much staying power as like, I don't know, a tarnish of the brand. I have no actual point here, but Upper Decks.
I took notes on Upper Decks. Upper Decks was a fun one, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
This is the one you liked, right?
Yeah, I liked this episode because fundamentally, like, I like this supporting cast of characters. Like, they do have just like very likable, you know, like likable voice actors, likable characters that when they pop in other episodes, it's fun to see what they're doing because it's usually dumb.
Right.
And it's usually a good time.
And I think the difference is like where there's all the references, but this episode is all built on Star Trek tropes.
Yes.
Which are different than references.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? That's a better articulation of what I was trying to get at earlier. I think it's better when it's about the tropes and less about the specific references.
Because like the tropes are pretty insular at a point, but at a point you understand. Even Sean can understand that these are tropes and recognize them, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Dumb guy.
Yeah.
Dumb car.
You're not that dumb.
No.
The trope.
No dumber than the rest of us. But yeah, like, but that's well put, Wade. That, like, you know, when it's about the kind of more general things that, like, you know, we can expect from Trek, I think a lot of the times the jokes land better. Just if only for the simple matter of, like, it's not predicated on you knowing that there was an episode of Enterprise where Vulcans went to a small town in the Midwest and more like, oh, of course, there's, like, you know, silly and like convoluted engineering things that happen. And of course, that would create problems down the line.
Right, and it does it. It's a whole episode of, in which these last few episodes, to their credit, maybe that's why I like them more. Like, they don't get hung up on here's an A plot and a B plot that doesn't have anything to do with it. You know, there was the B plot of the last episode was Boimler spilt a Michelada on the transporter thing, but that was directly related to the problem of the episode. And this one, there's like 5 different. There's a plot for each of the command crew, basically.
Yep.
And then there's like a running, you know, Uber plot that they're all linked to, and it all meshes together. Like, it's not an A, B, or there's like you know, a plot for everybody. There's multiple 7 letters of the alphabet plots or whatever.
Sure.
I can't do math to count up the command crew.
It's like an ensemble plot thing.
Yeah. You know, the captain's overworked and Ransom's got workout story stuff, and Shax has Bajoran damage.
Shax has demons.
Yeah. The cat doctor has.
Which on that front, Wade, you're the reigning expert on DS9 stuff. I thought at first that, like, it wasn't just that it was like PTSD. I thought that they were suggesting that, like, he had like a paw wraith or something infecting him. Like,
well, that's what I liked about it, because throughout this whole series, there's been like, the whole point is that there's shit going on that in the background that they're not really going into detail about.
Right, because
it's about the lower decks, and then the cold open where they're carving pumpkins. They're like, nothing happens to those guys. This shows we're the important people, and then they cut, and they're having all these grand adventures and everything. And like, there's the ongoing thing that like Shax died. Because
he died off
at the end of the season,
or he got resurrected off screen.
Right, and they never say what happened, other than like he's like, "Don't, it's fucking dark, man," you know. And when he's going in the morning briefing, after the Clickets get mentioned, and he storms out, and they're like, "Oh, whatever." and he's got all these demons, and it's like, oh, this is something that he does every now and then, and maybe or maybe not, it's related to him being dead, because it opens up with a guy with a snake version of him with a snake coming out of his throat and everything.
Yeah.
Turns out it's all about his demons from the occupation, but maybe that has something to do with his death. We don't know, because that was a whole other thing. But there's details that they just leave hanging because we know that there's a story there that we don't know the full depths of.
And if you want to know the story about what happens when someone dies and gets resurrected in a way that they shouldn't, just watch Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh God, I love that show.
Don't get him started, Sean. It was a good show.
It's a good show. I like it. I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah. Delicious or Full Brother Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Or no, Glenn, it's called Full Brother Alchemist. Don't gaslight Wade. It's clearly
Full Brother. That's the Buster Bluth anime.
Yeah.
Full Brother.
Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is the sense. Also, that's what that's about.
Someone has to have made the owl "Hey brother" joke, right?
Probably.
I don't know.
Billups has the whole engineer teaching moment thing that goes off for else.
Billups is a great mentor.
Yeah.
The cat doctor, Jesus Christ.
The cat doctor she's my favorite character, so
She is.
I know.
Man, when they focus on her, it's always a good time.
She just wants to feel pain.
Right. Because because it all starts in the morning briefing after they get the cold open with the lower deckers that we're done with. They mention the Clickets, and they're like, okay, doctor, you have no bets. You don't need to work on painkillers and it turns out her pain threshold's so high. Yeah. Shut up and rearrange my guts. She's got the sassy gay assistant.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that character.
That's so funny. That character has not been on the show before, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, he's new.
Okay. All right. Very funny.
That was Paul F. Tompkins doing the voice there, right?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
It sounded like him at least, and it does look like he provided multiple voices for this episode.
Yeah. I mean, but it works. I don't need to get into dynamics between gay men and women, but it felt truthful.
Also, is Nolan North is in this episode? I know he's been in previous episodes.
He's in all of them, I think.
Okay, that's what I was trying to remember. Is
he shows up all the time.
Yeah, which that's It's funny seeing him not be the front and center just because in video games he's such a
right in our world he often is, but
work is work. But trying to remember. So it's the whole, I guess the overarching plot is about the cricket aliens that hate to be complimented, and the bagoon, I think the space cows.
Right, because it's a throwaway thing in the thing, and the first time I watched it, I forgot about the Clickus, and then because they're they don't like being complimented, and they move on to the bagoon or the aliens that hide. They have natural cloaking abilities, and they use their hide to hide. It's what Ransom says.
It works. Yes. Of the crew, the bridge crew plots, his I think was the weakest. I get it's funny that he everything is about working out. It's kind of this meathead thing.
The resolution of it that his whole thing is that people bond by using him as an enemy. Okay, fine, that's his management style. But yeah, it's a little bit.
Well, it's the kind of thing. It's these people do have to be competent on some level. It's the same thing of yes, it's a comedy, but it's also in Canada Trek. So for the same reason, when they have these goofy characters in the bridge crew, they also have to establish that yes, this guy is a goofy meathead, but there is also a reason that he is in a a command role in Starfleet, and so
the show does a great job showing these are all people who are very good at what they do, which is why they're allowed to be absolute fucking maniacs.
Right. And the unusual thing about the Ransom storyline was because it was the only one. This is the upper decks, but it was that was the one that was also about lower deckers, but it was the Beta and the Delta crew.
Different, right, exactly.
Who seem to be bigger fuck ups than our main cast members.
Yeah. Yeah, they're lower decks.
Oh man,
I guess same way that the half god was a fuck up.
Oh right, the demigod ensign or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know I said this in a previous episode, but I really would love like slow horses, but for Trek.
I should watch Slow Horses so I get your references better.
Oh man, it's really really good.
I hear it's pretty good. Yeah.
And it's quick too. 6 episodes a season. You'll if you like it, you'll breeze through it in a weekend.
Okay. Yeah, you might. Well, not for much longer.
Right. Well, it's when they're little, you can get through a lot. You can get through a lot, but as soon as he starts basically being able to watch the TV, it's all over.
Yeah.
I like Ransom's whole thing that he pretends to be a lazy, incompetent doofus, but then it truly is like
he's a meathead talking about working out all the time. How much do you bench, Sean?
Well, I like that, obviously. It's my kind of guy.
I wasn't gonna say
but then he uses it to teach lessons, right? He forces the lower deckers to use self-reliance, to stand up for themselves. Obviously, he could have beaten up those Clickets and he could have collected those cows, but he's like, no, you do it. I have to pretend to be a dipshit.
Right. And that Billups has a certain other kind of thing. He's similar, his storyline, but instead of the whole crew, it's like him and the one actor that I recognize from a lot of stuff. I knew that was like, oh, I know her. I know that voice.
Sure, I don't.
I think she's in. No, yeah, it's not that she's on Mythic Quest. That's right.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Charlotte Nickdow.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong, but
that's how I would say it too.
Oh, she's great on Mythic Quest.
She's great. Yeah.
The bird guy's the only one who doesn't have his own like thing going on, but that's probably because he had an episode.
He already had.
And he wasn't.
He was in that meeting. He's in that meeting in the beginning of the episode.
He was, but he wasn't added until like season 3, really, or later.
Really? Is that? Yeah, I don't remember.
They're like, we have PFT and we love him. Let's make a character for him. He's a bird guy.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
Force a reboot by holding down its power button while telling a sad story from your childhood that demonstrates human emotion.
Oh, that was good.
It's like, well, one time my dad took me to the beach and we saw a dead fish. That's not sad enough.
Not sad enough.
Which the Paul Tompkins reminds me. I think there was a funny line about therapy. I think he was talking to Shax or someone.
Oh yeah.
Or he's like.
But at the end, yeah, he tells Shax that the tools in therapy can be like weapons.
Yeah.
Can be strong weapons against, yeah.
Sign me up. Therapy can arm you for your fight. So when can we start?
Yeah.
And she spills chowder on herself, the doctor, and that resolves that plot. Fuck, this chowder's hot.
It's good.
Okay, fine.
It is funny that like they did like with the parrot guy that they had that storyline in the other episode. Like I'm curious if they just determined that, like there just wasn't time for it.
In this one?
Right. I wonder if at any point that storyline had a version in this episode.
Oh, maybe.
Because in hindsight, it doesn't make as much sense to have it. It
felt like they were shoving B plots and everything in those episodes, and they just had one.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows?
Maybe so. But, it's a strong episode, though. It's a fun ensemble.
Yeah. Welcome to the Bear Pack. And oh, buddy, I'm so sorry about that. It's funny, too, that, like, oh, I have to be calm so that I can fight you. And then, like, you think it's going to be like, well, I'm not going to fight you. And then he astral projects and just starts killing everybody. That comedy of that, I thought was funny.
Yes, the Shax is like I feel like there used to be like such a trope in like I feel like 80s and 90s comedies of like the Vietnam guy, I guess what's his name from The Simpsons is probably or not what's his name, Skinner. Like Skinner on Simpsons is kind of like a notable example. I mean,
yeah, it was just the water I swam in like in the 80s and 90s, I feel like. Because I mean, when you look back in the 80s and 90s, Vietnam was about the same distance as like fucking Gulf War was to some people.
Desert, yeah, right, exactly. Desert Storm and everything for us, which is fucking crazy. Yeah. But like, I feel like Shax,
which is why in all the shows you get Afghanistan, they're all damaged from that, and that instead of Vietnam vets, there all those shows that they reboot where they have damaged military guys, they're all Afghanistan damaged now. So.
The new Day of the Jackal is exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, we're all damaged from Afghanistan. Okay, we're all just doing our best to work through.
Yeah, some of us worse than others. Like the guys that were there.
I was about to say, yeah. Let's make sure we put ourselves at the very.
It's about as bad. It's just it's just like
Jesus
how.
Christ.
Yeah, they've got it a little bit worse, but I'm basically there.
Sean gets it.
Yeah.
Having dogs is the same as having children.
Yeah, I totally understand everything everyone's been through because I'm basically going through the same thing.
Well, anyway, but the point I was trying to make was just that Shax feels like a riff on like that kind of like trope from some like earlier comedy stuff, and I feel like that obviously by nature of the fact that it's not a real conflict and it's Star Trek.
Well, it feels more like a riff on all the damage that what's her name went through in DS9.
Kira Nerys.
Yeah.
Why did I say her full name? That was weird.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no. They clearly, from a canon perspective, they're like, yeah, how can we like really lead into Cardassia v the Bajoran occupation,
which is that's a perfect thing to do for if you're gonna have a Bajoran character who's got demons. Like they're all damaged from the occupation. Like.
But yeah, I guess
they weren't warriors; they were occupiers.
Yes, I do also appreciate his very strong anti-fascist bent throughout the series.
Star Trek has been pretty strongly anti-fascist since.
That's true. Yes,
Kirk was letting his lady friend die because of Nazis.
Oh God, that's right. The city on the edge of forever.
Oh, yeah, you say that like it's a bad episode. It's a great episode.
No. It's just harrowing. It's just like,
hey Glenn, fucking great episode, bud.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, like you've seen it.
I've seen Story at the End of Tomorrow.
All right,
it's great.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to correct you. Right. I'm not going to do it.
Good. That's because I said nothing.
Right. Yeah.
What I said was barely even words.
I want to correct you. I might correct you, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fight it.
We all know what happened there, Glenn. You don't have to point it out.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We all know. We all know. It's right. It's fine. It's fine.
The Battle of Timpasa is likely a reference to Shakar's resistance cell that Karen Reese was a part of.
Oh, there you go. So
which Shax was a part of. So when he's reliving the Battle of Timpasa, that's a straight reference to DS9.
They must have interacted in the DS9 episode, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's in it, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Because it's like her and Quark mainly.
Yeah. And they even get Winger Bingston, who in an early episode was shown as like, oh, that guy's a great actor, and this is just a dope that needs to have the captain see us do its monologues.
The name sounds familiar, at least.
Yeah, it was a whole thing in one episode where like, is that a reference to is Winger Bingston something from Trek that we know? Like, no, it's something they've created for this.
Right. It's so, but it's good. It's so goofy.
The way they were talking about Winger Bingston as being like a great thing. It's like, oh, is that a reference? Like, no. So,
I kind of wish they'd done more of that.
And then he shows back up here, but he's not a big thing. He's just a goofball. He's acting or whatever.
Right. I wish they'd done more of that of like, like reference red herrings where it's like, is this a reference or did they just do something goofy?
Oh yeah, like the whatever dance, choo-choo dance or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And even Moopsie arguably was something is Moopsie from something?
No, I knew Moopsie wasn't from something.
But no, Moopsie's an LD original, baby.
Yeah, I fully expected them to do everybody loved Moopsie, we gotta bring Moopsie back. And they haven't, and spoilers, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Good, which is good for them, because like when they brought back Peanut Happer that third time, I felt like it was out of gas.
Yeah. And Badgie, I assume. I
didn't like that.
I will be shocked if Badgie is not in like the last two episodes, but don't tell me. No spoilers.
Oh, I could tell you. But
I know you could, but
don't tell us, Wade.
I'll tell you, nothing made me mad about it. Badgie, whether he showed up or he didn't.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good to know. I can live with that. Yeah, that's the strong ep though. The upper decks, no shits in toilet tanks. But besides that, I think we can all agree that it's a strong outing.
Yeah.
Yeah, ending with the compliments is just solid, just set up punchline stuff. You know?
Oh yeah.
Chekhov's compliment.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Did we know Billup's first name was Andorithio? His mom probably said it.
No, I did not know that.
That must have been from the episode with June, Diane, Raphael.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, he's like, nope, we only use that when we're on the brink of death. It's, yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, I actually thought it was very nice. The husband, the captain's husband.
Oh yeah, he's him showing up.
Oh yeah, that was sweet.
General showing up.
Doesn't bother telling his daughter that he's here. It was kind of shitty, but
yeah, genuinely.
Oh yeah, I saw your dad. No, you didn't.
That's so fucking funny.
Well, that's the beauty of an intragalactic society. Is like you can travel, thousands of light years on a lark, and it's not a big deal.
Right. Do you think they're the leads of their own stories like that happens? Like, no, we're
the main.
Nothing ever happens here if we're not involved. That's my whole worldview. Like,
hey, what Star Trek are they referencing with her getting stuck in the painting at the beginning of the episode?
Oh, they did mention that. I am sure it is something. I can't remember what it is myself.
Yeah, it's
wow. Glenn doesn't know when they got stuck in a fucking painting.
It feels like the kind of thing like in Move Along Home and DS9, they get stuck in a game. That one's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it does happen in Delicious in Dungeon. I guess they don't get stuck.
Well, yeah.
Do they get stuck?
Yeah.
No, he gets out pretty quickly.
Yeah, because he brings the food with him and it doesn't stay.
Yeah, and then you learn some lore of the dungeon. And, yeah, it pays off later.
The Mad Mage.
Boy, I'll tell you, I googled Star Trek trapped in a painting, and nothing's really coming up immediately.
No, it just that's I think goes back to my point that this is playing with tropes. Like it sounds like the kind of thing that would happen, but it's like, oh
right. Yeah.
I appreciate that it keeps us on our toes.
Yeah,
that's crazy. No trivia in Memory Alpha for either of these episodes.
I see that. Yeah.
Well, let me look at the IMDb trivia. I feel like that'll
check the IMDb, Glenn, our IMDb correspondent.
Let's see for Upper Decks if they got any bits. Okay, did you know trivia? The coffee cup Shax uses is the same as those on Deep Space Nine. All right.
Oh, because that's a lame one. I mean, the continuity thing with the Cordial rocks is better than.
Oh, here's a good one. The Bagoon are based on pill bugs. They can roll into balls when frightened.
Oh man,
Jesus Christ!
One of the Bagoon has.
That's not like trivia.
The Cordial rocks is a reference to yesterday's Enterprise when rocks mysteriously are part of the debris that fell off the bridge because they're like, oh yeah, the Cordial rocks fallen. It was a joke, but it was a reference.
Oh, that's funny. When they said, I forgot. They do say Corddry, and I was like, is that somehow a reference to Rob Corddry? Like, is he in this episode or something?
Oh no.
But no, that's
no. They're the rocks that killed Rachel Garrett in the Enterprise C.
And then another, one of the Bagoon has a cattle tag in its ear. They were referred to as cows by the crew. Who writes this shit and who rated it as?
That's not what the fuck. That's man, that's awful.
More baffling. 9 people rated this helpful.
What?
Helpful is just, I mean, tremendous.
They tag the animals that they're taking care of. Hey, that's some trivia. It's like, no, it's not. It's a detail. Fuck you.
It's just a thing that happens.
Goofs, IMDb goofs get a lot of flack, but I'm starting to think the trivia section might be the actual.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is truly brutal.
What is the Zertha passage? This is nonsense. So when it's not one of these insipid ones, it's 4 paragraphs. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are. I pulled it up. These are long.
You'd think that there'd be more stuff like this on Memory Alpha, but apparently the IMDb Lower Decks fans are showing up in force.
I think IMDb just has a lower class of curator. Like the nerds at Memory Alpha take this shit seriously.
Yeah, that's probably
right. They wouldn't let this stuff get through.
No, they wouldn't let this fly. That's right. We're singing your praises, Memory Alpha.
The Katamari Damacy one, though, truly just...
that's the best one we've gotten so far.
That's pretty bad.
They did let that one through on Memory Alpha, and that's confounding.
But that's also my favorite trivia that we've read so far. Just like...
Yeah.
It's akin to, this other video game. It's like...
Just great stuff.
Do we need to, re-educate people on what trivia actually means here? But,
Apparently, Trek fans anyway.
I feel like if we're scraping the trivia page, that's probably a good sign that we've...
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty set here, yeah. I liked this episode. I didn't love the other one, but I'm excited to see what's left for us.
Yeah, it's basically another two-parter, except, spoilers, it's split up in a way that they're very succinct.
All right.
In a way that might reflect what you liked and disliked about these two episodes, Sean. I'm not sure, but I rather liked the finales.
Interesting. Hey, listen.
And I like these ones too, but I'm a market for it because I understood the references.
Right. Listen, I this show I give a lot more grace than any of the other Treks we've watched. I do find it much more likable generally. And so when we get an episode like the first one we discussed on this episode, I didn't like it. And then when pressed, you got me to admit many things that I found very likable about it. So and that happens. I think this show is fundamentally pretty up my alley, except when it gets a fucking boner for Star Trek. Which it's pretty reasonable when it does. It's a referential Star Trek show.
Right. When that's
hard for me to have a problem with that. So
and there will be some interesting canon details next time.
All right, interesting. Will they finally acknowledge Star Trek Discovery? Who knows?
I'm just saying we might have some things to say about Klingon dicks, guys. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Okay, now you got my attention.
The Red Angel might be showing up on the Cerritos.
Oh god, wouldn't that be something?
No, oh god.
We'll finally find out how he got in that fucking chair.
We're gonna listen. It is a question that Star Trek Lower Decks would ask.
Yeah, right. Like it's that if they actually did that, that would have to catapult it up to like just our all-time rankings. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
But
all right, get me the fuck out of here. I got work in the morning.
All right, yeah. No more. Let's just end it without dragging it out like we did last time.
Well, listen, I had a blast dragging it out last time, but I am fucking tired tonight.
Right.
Well, before we sign off, though, we do need to talk about how the fact that the DCU's new Batman actually technically made a canon appearance in Creature Commandos. And
Glenn, this is a fucking Evergreen podcast. We're not talking about...
So what? So Pattinson's doing more Batman, but that's not the canon James Gunn.
Correct. The Pattinson movies are Elseworlds, meaning that they are not canon to the shared universe stuff.
That's
meaning the thing I said. Yes,
that's not true, Glenn. They said if it makes sense, we don't know.
They won't do it. They haven't
said definitively. That's not going to. But they have not said. They haven't ruled it out.
They haven't ruled it out because they're still figuring out if they want the Flash guy to direct Brave and the Bold.
But this is an Evergreen podcast, Glenn. This is an Evergreen. But they might have made a statement on that by the time people listen.
That's true. It's entirely possible. Only time will tell.
All
right. Self-destruct code beta cuck. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom, indeed.
I'm not quite relevant to the pod, but fuck it.
Hey, listen, I'm in Jersey, therefore the bada bing's always relevant. All right. Hey,
indeed.
Hey, you don't disrespect the bing. All right.
Ooh. You ever think that having these records so late might make us a little loopy?
Yeah, said the exact same thing on the last episode, and you're goddamn right, Glenn.
Yep. It's standing by it. All right, stopping recording now.
All right, I'm also going to stop recording now.